The Pittsburgh Steelers continue to find themselves stuck in one of the most uncertain and potentially frustrating quarterback sagas in recent NFL memory, as the Aaron Rodgers situation remains unresolved. What once seemed like a bold but manageable gamble by the organization is now starting to feel like a weight dragging down offseason momentum. The 41-year-old former MVP and Super Bowl champion has yet to commit to joining the Steelers, and while speculation continues to suggest that a deal may still happen, the truth is simple and becoming increasingly difficult to ignore: there has been no forward movement. There is no more reason today for fans or analysts to believe Rodgers will sign than there was in March. And with the 2025 NFL season creeping ever closer, Pittsburgh may be forced to reassess their options and consider whether waiting for Rodgers is still a viable path forward. Throughout the offseason, Rodgers has maintained some form of connection to the Steelers. He made a well-publicized trip to Pittsburgh, reportedly touring the team's facilities and engaging in meetings with head coach Mike Tomlin and general manager Omar Khan. Perhaps even more intriguing was his private throwing session with newly acquired wide receiver DK Metcalf. That workout, which took place shortly after the Steelers finalized the trade to bring Metcalf from Seattle, sparked renewed optimism within the fanbase and even within the locker room. If Rodgers was going through the trouble to develop chemistry with Metcalf in the offseason, it surely meant something, right? And yet, despite all these signs of interest, Rodgers has not signed. No press conference. No pen to paper. Just more waiting. The latest official statement from Rodgers, delivered in his signature calm and cryptic tone on the Pat McAfee Show, was that he is working through some personal things and would make a decision when the time is right. While it's certainly fair that a player of Rodgers' stature takes time to weigh the magnitude of his next move, particularly given his age, injury history, and legacy, the reality is that the Steelers cannot build their entire quarterback strategy on an idea that might never materialize. Fan impatience is growing, and internally, the Steelers' coaching staff is aware of the pressure. The quarterback room currently consists of veteran Mason Rudolph, former Dolphins quarterback Skylar Thompson, and rookie Will Howard, who was taken in the 6th round of the 2025 NFL Draft. Of those three, none present a clear solution for a team that believes it is ready to contend. Will Howard is a developmental project. Thompson is a third stringer. Rudolph has experience, but has never proven he can consistently lead a team to wins. The need for a true starting quarterback is not just apparent, it's urgent. Given that reality, it's no surprise that the conversation around Pittsburgh's quarterback future has expanded beyond Rodgers. During a Thursday segment on the Pat McAfee Show, ESPN's Peter Schrager introduced a new angle to the situation that is beginning to gain traction. According to Schrager, if Rodgers continues to hesitate, the Steelers could very well pivot toward another veteran quarterback, Kirk Cousins. "I still think Kirk Cousins is a viable trade candidate if Aaron Rodgers doesn't land in Pittsburgh," Schrager said. "I would keep an eye on that one." This isn't the first time Cousins' name has been connected to the Steelers this offseason. Earlier discussions highlighted him as a potential plan B in the event that Pittsburgh couldn't secure Rodgers. But now, with Rodgers' indecision dragging deep into May, Cousins is beginning to look less like a backup plan and more like a legitimate alternative. Cousins, now 36, is coming off a turbulent season with the Atlanta Falcons. He began 2024 as the team's starter, returning to action after suffering a torn Achilles in 2023 during his time with the Minnesota Vikings. The injury clearly affected his mobility, never a strong point to begin with, and his play was inconsistent throughout the year. In 14 games, Cousins completed 66.9% of his passes for 3,508 yards, throwing 18 touchdowns and 16 interceptions. Those numbers, while not eye-popping, were respectable considering the circumstances: a new system, limited chemistry with the receiving corps, and the physical hurdles of recovering from a major injury. Late in the season, Cousins was replaced by rookie quarterback Michael Penix Jr., who injected youth and excitement into Atlanta's offense. That decision all but signaled the end of Cousins' time with the Falcons. While the front office has been careful in its public statements, all signs point toward a team that is ready to hand the reins to their young passer and move forward. For Pittsburgh, the possibility of acquiring Cousins presents both opportunity and risk. On one hand, Cousins is a seasoned veteran with over a decade of starting experience. He's led playoff runs, worked in multiple offensive systems, and is known for his preparation and professionalism. In a stable environment, with a solid offensive line and playmakers around him, Cousins has proven capable of delivering consistent results. On the other hand, there are legitimate concerns. His injury history cannot be ignored, particularly the Achilles tear which, for players in their mid-30s, can be career-altering. Furthermore, Cousins has often been criticized for falling short in big moments. His postseason record is underwhelming, and there are questions about whether he can truly elevate a roster when the stakes are highest. But here's the thing, the Steelers aren't necessarily asking for greatness. They're asking for stability. They're asking for someone who can execute the offense, avoid turnovers, and help the team win games on the back of a strong defense and improving run game. In that context, Cousins fits. Financially, acquiring Cousins would require some maneuvering. He still carries a sizable cap hit, and any trade would likely involve the Falcons absorbing part of his salary. But with Rodgers still unsigned and the quarterback market thinning, the Steelers might be more willing to accept the financial burden if it means getting a clear QB1 into the building. Timing will be critical. Every day that Rodgers waits puts more strain on the Steelers' ability to finalize their offseason plans. The longer this drags on, the less time Pittsburgh has to prepare its offense with whoever ends up under center. If Rodgers continues to delay, at some point, the organization must make a call, and that call could very well be to Atlanta. There are also emotional and cultural factors to consider. Bringing Rodgers to Pittsburgh would bring massive attention, both from the media and within the locker room. His reputation, polarizing personality, and history with the Green Bay Packers make him a headline machine. Cousins, by contrast, is quieter, more reserved, and generally keeps a lower profile. Depending on how head coach Mike Tomlin and the Steelers' leadership view their current locker room dynamic, one personality may be seen as a better fit than the other. Of course, this all remains hypothetical, for now. But Schrager's comments have introduced a new element to a storyline that already had enough intrigue. It's no longer just about whether Rodgers will sign. It's about how long Pittsburgh can afford to wait, and what other options might be more practical if the wait goes on too long. Cousins may not be the dream choice, but he could be the right one. And for a Steelers team that has done everything but solve its quarterback problem, the clock is ticking. The next few weeks may bring clarity, or they may bring another twist. Either way, Pittsburgh will have to make a decision soon. Waiting forever is not an option. Not with training camp looming and the 2025 season on the horizon. If Aaron Rodgers wants to be a Steeler, the door remains open. But if he doesn't walk through it soon, the franchise may have no choice but to close it and open another one. Possibly with Kirk Cousins standing on the other side.